probably it's all necessary to bring about where I am, or where we go through these tribulations so that we are in the place that we are. But definitely I would tell myself, like, I don't know why, maybe it's the last couple of weeks or something, but like a lot of people don't realize, like, nobody cares. Like, everyone thinks that they're the center of the world, that everything matters, that this is gonna, like, that they like it, and at the end nobody, I can't remember where this came from. I think it came up from a conversation where I had with someone, with a partner, and he wanted to do something adventurous, and I don't know if I'm ready. And I was like, no, like, your thinking of ready or not ready, that's only you. Nobody cares. Like, you should wait till you're ready. Nobody cares. Like, everyone is so focused on their own thing that you would be surprised how your world is literally just your world. Like, you could just go ahead and take risks and go crazy, because no one's gonna judge you. No one's gonna judge you at all. Like, they just don't care enough. Everyone cares about their own stuff too much. And I think I may have been like that as young. I always thought that I was worried about being judged on some level, on some sense.
Y'all, welcome back to the best, and I do mean the best podcast on the planet, because I am the best podcast host, the one, the only, the Mr. Ballhead self, wonder himself, CVMK 33 on the gram, CVMK Global founder, and the CVMK Show. Y'all need y'all to connect with me. Look, we have an amazing show for you today, right? Amazing guests. All my guests are amazing, but this one is particularly amazing, right? From a founder of a company to implementing this new red light therapy. I'm really interested in his story. Been on his website, been to the class, watched the classes, and really got some good in-depth knowledge of who he is. And, from being an athlete to suffering, this brain trauma, to realizing, what he needed. There's a lot that has to be shared. So I had to bring him on, right? Reached out, he's been amazing, and he said yes. So I can't wait for that to happen. But before we go any further, if you want to continue to see amazing people like we have on today, I need you to do something that is free. It won't cost you $1. I need you to go to YouTube, click the subscribe button on CVMK. It's one word, it's 4 letters, CVMK. It shows Google, it shows us that we're important. We're worth listening to, right? Our podcasts can be seen and heard on every platform you can think of, from Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you stream your podcast, we're there most likely. But hey, look, summer's around the corner. I need you to get the body you deserve. Obviously, I'm the founder of a performance supplement line. It's called CVMK Global. We have with us our Samson T Booster, y'all. Look, men, particularly men over 35, then you start slowing down. You want the look, the feel, the depth, the vascularity. I need you today. www.cvmkglobal.store. Go there, get you one. Use the code CVMK. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you a new code, because I want you to try it out free. Use code STACKED for 38% off. We have the subscribe features. I'm telling you, bundles, you can save big, but I need you to go to www.cvmkglobal.store. And when I return, because I'm coming back, y'all, I'm coming back, I have the one, the only, John Graham Harper after this.
The limit. From the meets grace. Leaders shake hands, fighters push limits, voices rise with faith, and culture moves the streets. This is news, fitness, and perspective with an edge. Raw, executive, unapologetically Chicago. Welcome to the CVMK Show.
All right, y'all. So look, let me read his bio. So I want to let y'all know who I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with a real heavyweight here. Nobody that's a pushover, y'all. So let's go. John Graham Harper is the founder and CEO of Lumaflex, a global medical-grade red and near-infrared light therapy company with a background as competitive athlete in rugby, CrossFit, and boxing. His journey into recovery and performance optimization began though overcoming multiple injuries, including a brain-related condition that led him to discover the power of light therapy, combining his experience in sports, entrepreneurship, and fitness, including opening and operating multiple gyms. I need to connect John. John, I need to get my protein in your store. John found Lumaflex and made advanced recovery technology more accessible, practical, and effective. Today, Lumaflex is distributed across 19 countries using wellness, performance, and medical environments, including military and emergency applications. Beyond the product, John has built Lumaflex Academy, an education platform designed to train coaches, practitioners, and professionals in applying light therapy effectively. The company also delivers in-person certification seminars accredited with ACE, NAMS, AFA. John is passionate about bridging the science, technology, and the real-world application to help people improve recovery, performance, brain health, and overall well-being. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Tribe, CVMK Tribe and family, help me welcome John Graham Harper. John, how you doing today, man?
Thank you. What an intro. That was incredible.
Look, I had to do it for you, man. I had
to. That's great.
You know, when you look at certain guests, right? Like I'm a part of a few directories, few memberships, few clubs and whatnot, and you look at like who should be on the show next. Whose story does I think resonate with us, with our story? There's alignment there, a little competitive, competition, but not distracting or anything. But just who can bring the energy. And I saw your profile, and I read, just kind of highlight over information. Then I went to your social media profiles. I was like, this guy's interesting. And then I kind of, listened to some, the talks you've done and some of the clips they posted on social media. And I'm like, wow, he's not the typical CEO. He's like, he's, energetic, he's active, he works out. And I was like, this guy is somebody we need on the CVMK show. So it is my honor to be here with you.
Let's go.
Man. Let's do it. So my first question, man, is, the transition, right, from athlete to CEO, right? Like that had to be quite, a roller coaster. I remember watching a video you talked about, your boxing, the brain trauma that you had and your wife being concerned. So help us, put us back. Now you're in Hong Kong, you're successful, you're traveling, but when it wasn't like that, put us back to that moment when everything changed.
Yeah, I had this dream, everything starts with a dream. I had this dream of being like a pro athlete, especially boxing. And to this day, boxing is definitely something I still absolutely love. We got Tyson Fury has a fight, I believe. Tyson Fury's back he's coming out of retirement again.
Yes.
So that's an exciting fight coming up. He's always going in and out of retirement. I actually had the pleasure of sparring against him in Thailand, which was amazing. It was probably one of the best days of my life. When you idolize these heavyweight champions, and then you're in the ring and you're slugging against each other. It was like, wow. Well, he wasn't. I was slugging against him. He was just toying with me. He had like one eye closed. He was like, whatever. But yeah, that was really cool. That was really, really cool. But I like boxing. Before boxing was rugby. I'm originally Australian, so rugby is kind of like it's supposed to be in our blood. At least I thought. But I didn't really have the genes for it. I'm very tall. I've got sort of weaker joints, and I busted both my shoulders and my left knee playing rugby, and that kind of like took me out of rugby. I tried to do some CrossFit for a bit, and I think my knee just kept getting worse and worse every time I would do these clean and jerks that they do in CrossFit. It's very like this is back before recovery. It was what it is today, right? Like you've got sauna, hyperbaric chambers, ice plunges, red light therapy. Like everybody's so on top of their recovery now. It's like it's a massive industry, right? It's the biggest sort of driver in fitness, at least. Everyone's investing in recovery. But back then it was sort of like the David Goggins kind of mentality, harden up, just keep going.
Yeah.
Savage. So I wasn't really recovering myself and paying attention to my injuries. I was just trying to muscle through it, and just try to be that's how athletes are, right? We're supposed to have the pain. We just push through the pain. That was kind of the way that I was thinking. It was just, it's part of the package. You want to be great. You got to suffer, which is true to a certain extent. I mean, nothing comes easy. But now, but smart athletes now really take care of their recovery. They're really on top of it, and they're very careful, and they're thinking like long term in their career and when do they want to peak, and how do they want to sort of gauge their training and competition future. It's all like very, very scientific now. They're really good. So I got into amateurs for a while. And after 4 years of fighting, I started to get very severe headaches. And my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, was pushing me to do a test to get like a scan to figure out what was going on with me. And after doing a scan of my brain, they found a tumor had grown just through traumas to the head. Because the doctor was like, have you had a bad car accident? Like, no. Did you fall down when you were a baby? No. Like, and I was like, well, I'm an active boxer. And she was like, well, no, you can't be doing any impact now. This is you're not conditioned for this. We have to get this tumor out. So I had 11 months to plan the surgery, and they gave me this window of time so that they could use microsurgery to get the tumor out. They wouldn't have to, do a lot of like a big cut on the head or anything. And they said, it's growing into your brain. We have to get it out at this weird, and we'll use microsurgery. You barely will notice it. Be a quick, easy surgery. But it was a big wake up call for me. And after that, I kind of had this like life-changing moment where, I sort of was like, well, I don't want to be, this athlete that, bangs his head against the wall all the time. I started to develop a passion for light therapy because, throughout all these injuries, my girlfriend, who's now my wife, was pushing me to use red light therapy. She was pushing me to use it and to try it out with this lamp that she bought. This lamp that it's something that, if you go to clinics, some physios, like I've even seen them in some chiropractic places around the world. It's a lamp that uses effervescent light. It's like a bulb. And it shines with multiple, rays of light, not just red and near infrared. There's a lot of light, and it gets very hot. So heat is another thing that assists in the recovery, in the repair. And that lamp really helped my left knee get better, which was the worst injury. That's the one that really, like over years and years and years, I remember thinking like, this is just my cross to bear. Like this is going to be my thing. I'm going to have a bad knee. I'm going to have a bad knee forever. But after a week of using that lamp on my knee, I didn't feel any pain after a week. Like the pain was immediately gone. But then I did it for an extra week just to be safe. And to this day, my knees have never been, a trouble for me, that was my thing. Everyone's got like their little thing that irks, it's like the lower back or the neck or, the knee. Everyone's got their little thing. And it could be because of an injury or it could be bad posture. I mean, it can be many, many different things. But my knees were always very, always full of injuries. And so that triggered an interest into what red light therapy was. And I wanted to learn what light therapy was to sort of have a hack, that I could use in my own personal, development as a career in sports. Yeah. But then it got more and more. I got more and more inspired by it. Especially with these scientists. Like there's some scientists that have devoted their life to talking about light therapy, pushing light therapy, and everyone has been like, locking them out of the conference, shooing them away, like, oh, you're just a hippie, you're a sun worshiper. But now, with the overwhelming amount of research, those same scientists are now like given red carpet treatment, and they're always like doing big keynote speeches and everything. And that fellowship of scientists really got me excited and motivated to do something in light therapy and to build something that was just as effective as that lamp, but was more versatile, that was more portable, that was something that I could just use as an athlete, throw in the gym and throw it in the gym bag and use on the go, and kind of like cater it to athletes. Because light therapy, in the market of light therapy, 80% of it is still beauty. Like light therapy and beauty is everywhere. LED masks, little wands, little things to help with pimples or whatever. It's still such a large space, and everyone truly loves and gives enough credit to beauty outcomes for light therapy, but there's not much for pain. And when you think about light therapy. When you learn about light therapy, you realize it's like such an ultimate hack. You know, you were talking. You got a supplement line, right? Like you've got a test booster, right? I'm like like a testosterone booster. Like for anyone listening, you know, for any men listening, talking about a test booster. There's so much inflammation in the world that we live in nowadays. Our testosterone as men is just being pushed down further and further and further. It's like a no-brainer to get a test booster. Like it's like even after that, you still need to be always looking for hacks, how to hack your health. How can you not just survive through life, but thrive, it's something like and we get, our testosterone is destroyed through Wi-Fi, through sitting on car batteries, through microplastics that are in everything we eat now. We basically can't avoid it. It's the inflammation, like the way we are as a human race now, in the digital age. We all need to really self-diagnose and self-medicate ourselves and take any tool and hack that we can just to fight inflammation. Because it's part of our life now. We can't, unless you go off and live, in the middle of nowhere. You go off grid. You drink, pure spring water. Grow your own, food and everything. Not everyone can do that, obviously, right? We gotta still work. We gotta still grind. We gotta be in big cities. We gotta, be in traffic. And inflammation is just part of our life now. Like it's not anything you can. We just have to deal with it. And we have to always fight it every day. And red light therapy is an amazing hack to support with that, to help your cells get energy.
I believe it. This has been my theory. And I was telling my wife, I said, when I look at the advances in like red light therapy and other therapeutic measures and even anabolics, I really think the fear is the medical industry will lose its stronghold on the consumer base. Like I don't think it's, yes, there's abuse and everything, but I don't think that's the message. I think the real message is if I can take red light therapy and, deal with the inflammation, deal with the need for, neurocellular genesis and my body's healing and recovering. And I no longer have to go to a chiropractor, or I no longer have to go, as much to the doctor. I don't have to take the cortisone injections. What need would be for the middle person. And I really believe, and not to be conspiracy theories, but in my heart, sometimes I think like, why aren't the two industries tighter? Like, why do you think the medical industry is so adverse to alternative treatments?
Yes, it's such a great topic. I love talking about this stuff because all of those rabbit holes, all those conspiracy theories, I've gone super deep into it. And and I would encourage everybody listening to learn up on it, because there's a wave happening now, big wave of biohacking, of alternative medicine, of natural healing that's coming up. And I personally believe like big pharma has been playing defense now. There's lots of crazy things that are happening in the world now, and they have been playing defense, and they have been not able to sort of stop the wave of information of what's now becoming mainstream. And just in the last, 4 weeks or so, cancer cures, patents for cancer cures are popping up all over the world. Mm-hmm. And I believe, I predicted 2 weeks ago, I was talking with a group, I was giving a talk, and I said in 2 years, cancers will just be a common cold. It'll be like, meh, it'll be nothing. But I actually believe just in the last couple of weeks, even just in this last week, the information that's come out, I believe within this year, cancer will just become something that will be easily, to treat, and we won't have this fear anymore. But that's a huge conversation. That's a couple hours, that conversation. But it's something, and biohacking, this culture, you have guys like Dave Asprey, Brian Johnson, Gary Brecka, some of the guys I like. I really like Chris Gethin. He's a really good friend of mine. And these guys, they basically look at the way we used to live in our natural environment, and this with enough sunlight. We're like 80% deficient in natural sunlight in this day and age, in the modern age, right? We're always under artificial light, which is known to cause inflammation in our bodies, right? It's bad for us, especially when we're on your phone at night, telling your brain to wake up when it's time to wind down, destroying your circadian rhythm. But biohacking is the idea of getting the way that we used to live in our natural environment in ancient times and bringing it, to where we are now. And with these tools, like, with red light therapy, or with saunas, or with, or with even looking at anabolics, like is the male testosterone level as it was back before? No, I believe it is not. It's like, sorry, our testosterone is going lower and lower. Like the studies have shown, like every year, male testosterone overall keeps dropping, and that's just because because of our environment, because of all the the things, all the toxins and everything. So what are you going to do? You're just going to sit there and be like, oh well, or you're going to start hacking your health, and looking for whether it be TRT protocols or peptides, or start outfitting your home to protect against Wi-Fi. Like, absolutely, like it's all the information's all out there now, and like, go for it. It's you don't have a choice.
That's true. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna get back. I want to talk about how do we create the messaging of biohacking so that it's no longer taboo? And I'll explain that, because I think the industry has done such a good job in making things taboo. And then how did you turn this into a business? How did you scale Lumaflex? When we return, we have the one, the only, y'all, John Graham Harper, after this.
On the days I need mental clarity and peak physical performance, Superpower by CVMK Global is my to-go. It supports me whether I'm flowing through yoga, pushing heavy in the gym, or striking hard at boxing or Muay Thai. No matter how I combine training, this pre-workout keeps me energized and consistent, feeling locked in and unstoppable. Superpower always delivers. Clean energy, no crash. A non-negotiable for those days I'm pushing extra hard. What are you waiting for? Try it and let me know how it works for you.
You got so many great hacks.
Yeah. That's the one, the only. Rosa Acosta, y'all, get our pre-workout Superpower. I take it, obviously, this is the first. That's actually the first product we rolled out. Superpower still our top 5 bestseller. Y'all, 225 milligrams caffeine, 7.5 grams of citrulline, 2.5 grams of creatine mono. I'm telling y'all, game changer, Superpower. Get it today. www.cvmkglobal.store. Okay, so when I first got into this business in 2021, and I it's crazy listening to you, and you said, like, your girlfriend, now your wife, told you about real life therapy. Same thing here. My wife was like, you need to do this. You know more about, supplements, and this is what you do. Is like, even though you're not an athlete, like, you have an understanding of what needs to be in the market. And, we launched this company. The biggest hurdle that I still face today, above marketing spend, above retail distribution, is education. Trying to get people to see that it's safe, A, B, it's not. I think what happened was, when you hear like creatine, pre-workout, those aren't even anabolics, but somehow they get lumped into the category of steroids. Yes. It's like, look, if you want to have that conversation, let's have that conversation, but that's not that, right?
Yes.
But it's trying to demystify really what these things are. And then you get the question, will it make me bulky? And it's like, but you eat McDonald's. You never question McDonald's. Will it make me bulky? Right. No offense. I don't want McDonald's to sue me. McDonald's is the best restaurant. You got to do it. But I'm just saying, you will eat fast food. Never question the source of the food, the meat, what's in it, and consume it at scale. But when somebody introduces you or tells you about these supplements, these alternative biohacking measures, everything has to be looked at it like under a microscope. Why do you think that is?
That's so wild, right? It's just programming, right? Yeah. It's just programming. And creatine is like a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Creatine, it does nothing to do with training for your brain health.
Yeah.
The studies coming out about brain health are every like anyone outside of fitness, just longevity doctors and public figures I know, they are like creatine. Don't ever stop creatine. That's a a very key supplement we need. Like but it's just programming. It's very frustrating. It's true. That's the evolution with Lumaflex. It was 8 months launched. And that's when I started to push into education. And basically the company now is like an education company with the product second. Like we've got our accreditation now and master trainers all over the world. And we run webinars and seminars and we give out certifications and everything. But that was, just seeing that people, even no matter how much, these famous biohackers, that talk about it, still people like your average person who is in need of help, right? Who's in need of guides, of stacks, of protocols, of advice. They're the ones that need it, right? Mm-hmm. You got to communicate it to them. They're not following all that latest info about, all these wonderful things you can do to hack your health so easily. They're not following that info. You have to communicate it to them. That's always the challenge. And I think it's the challenge, like you never stop, because we're unprogramming, so many years, of brainwash, of like eating garbage food and like just it's atrocious. Like with light therapy, like when you trace back light therapy, it goes. Niels Finsen actually won the Nobel Prize in 1903 for curing smallpox using light therapy. But no one knows that.
I didn't know.
He cured 151 patients out of 152. There was just one patient that couldn't be cured, and so it goes way back. Like if you go to Google and you type like old hospital Sundex black and white, if you were to type that, you'll see hospitals used to have Sundex, on the top of the roof, where they would take people to lay in the sun because they knew the power of light. But then antibiotics were created and they were like, we don't need the Sundex anymore. Let's wipe that away from history. And there's this, and the problem is there's a guy I really like, neuroscientist, who I'm really obsessed with this dude. I really like the way his brain works. He's called Chase Hughes on YouTube. So if people listen to Chase Hughes videos, you realize how the programming works, because he decodes it all, and he talks about psyops, and he talks about how they did this and did that, like how they made smoking, for women trendy, like about them rebelling, like how they brand things, how they package things. Mm-hmm. He's really good at that. When you see, how it's been done in our past, you realize like, we're so programmed, we're so brainwashed. And it's like, and you take an active step to be like, no, I'm not, because there's this, like, there's a system that happens where if you want to program someone, you introduce authority, you introduce tribalism, and then but first you got to get their focus. So you get their focus, and then you introduce, authority and tribalism. And the doctor, the medical industry has this authority, this invisible, somehow they know everything. Like, oh, the doctor said it. Like, oh, and it's like, no, the fucking doctor doesn't know anything.
Right.
Himself will tell you, like, shit, I have no idea. Like, this is just what I've been taught, right?
Yeah.
And and the doctor before me was taught this, and the doctor before him was taught that. It's like, we're just doing what we're taught to do. And photobiomodulation, this is the medical word for light therapy. Photo meaning light, bio body, modulation to change, right? Your body changing with light. And last year I ran a survey online to look at what are keywords people are typing in to do with light therapy. So obviously red light therapy is quite high. Red light therapy for the face, very high. Red light therapy mask, very, very high. But the highest word that is searched in light therapy is photobiomodulation. And what I saw that to mean was, like, light therapy is taking off so much in the world that doctors who know the medical term are now researching it and saying, shit, I got to figure this out. Because my patients are now asking me, hey, what's this light therapy thing? And they know the medical word, so they're looking up photobiomodulation. So the medical world, I know, based on the survey, the back end, are researching into photobiomodulation. They need to learn this fast because the people, we're like, hey, enough's enough. You can't fool us too, for any longer. We need to know, and you need to. Is this something I should be using? Right?
Yeah. No, I agree. So to your point, and I think that's what separates. And I want to get into the company's journey. Just to digress, though, it's sick that Chris Giddens. I know he's with Cage Supplements, but huge. I follow him and Colin Von Monger. Those are my probably two favorite Australian fitness influencers, right? So shout out to both. We'd love to have them on the podcast. But this is where I think your company differs, not just from the service, the technology, this biohacking that you provide. When you send me the links to the educational courses, I was like, what the heck is this? Like, literally, like, I was just like, why is he sending me links? I go on and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, it's an accredited system, because a lot of times, we're and I'll speak, you get so focused on just getting the product out there. I just got to get out there. I got to build a narrative. I have to build a framework. We got to get it patented. We got to make sure our formulation is correct. And then we got to, market it like crazy. Right. So, but educating the consumer, educating the masses on what are the terminologies. I've never seen a detailed course like this. I was just going through, I was like, oh my gosh. And there's a video, there were quizzes, there were stuff. I was just like, this is a real class. And what shocked me is I said, you could literally sell the course to gyms because there's so much meat on this bone, So who inspired you to do that, to add this component? Because, I know us, athletes, we want to look good and feel good at the end of the day, right? Like if the chest is right, the arms are right, the abs are right, and we feel good and the money's good, we really don't care about, who inspired you to add this component? And then as a business, where have you seen this really beneficial?
Yeah, I think where the education all started, that's obviously with our educational director, Peter Forehand. He's a photobiomodulation expert and scientist. He's written a book called Light Bodies, and you can find that on lightbodiesbook.com. And this guy is he's just the most inspirational, smartest man that I know right now in the world. I look forward to my time with him where I can get some one-on-one time and I can kind of go deeper and deeper into physics, into light, and so much more. Like his book, he's written a book. It's a heavy book. It's for somebody who's a physics major or something. It's a heavy read. I'm not that intelligent to read, and it's all written in Greek, like old English Greek or whatever. Yeah. But there is a health section that's in the book that's taken out, and we give this out, to friends that are interested in light. But he basically, I came to him and I said like, we have an amazing product. We have a great product. And actually, Lumaflex has 11 awards. Design and innovation, we have 11 awards, more so than any other red light therapy company in the world. With this award-winning product, we got the Body Pro, which is the durable one. The one that I sell is GSA approved. I sell it to the military. It's used in ambulances in Europe. And then we've got the retail one, the Essential, that is in Costco and Target and all those. And then we have the Essential Pro, which is not just for pain management, but also for brain health. But we're not really a full solution. We're not getting the most out of this product because people are asking questions. How do I use it? I have this condition. What do I do with this? So I said, we need to create a full solution. We need education. And the education, very, very specifically, I said, Peter, the education, you're a genius, but we need a 5-year-old to be able to understand this. And the reason for that is, somewhere in my history, I got onto this idea. I can't remember where I heard it, but the truest expression of intelligence is information that can be passed down. So if you can, in my head, since I was a kid, I can't remember when, but I have this idea, like, true intelligence is when that guru, that scientist, that sage, that preacher or whoever is able to give information that is understood and then can be passed down to the next person. Like, it can travel through time. That's the truest expression of intelligence, and at least for me. And I said, if people can understand it and they can get it, they can implement red light therapy right away, and then they can tell their friends. They can be in a little, a brunch, with all the girls sipping Prosecco, and they're gonna be like, hey, did you hear about light therapy? Like, oh yeah, my grandmother has this issue. Like, we need it in that conversation. It needs to come up in that conversation. So we got a team of physios, therapists, strength and conditioning coaches in Miami Lakes at a gym run by a guy named Dr. Zach Coles, really amazing physio guy. This guy's incredible. He works with all the top athletes in Miami from all the big teams and everything. So we all sat down. I shot the video of him giving the class, and then that was like, okay, we're gonna list it on the site. We're gonna sell it, but anyone who buys a product, you get it free. Anybody who asks for it gets it free. Like, we're not here to make money on the education. We got a product. We're here to make money on the product. We're going to use the education to sell the product. And then my style of business is I'm quite an adventurous person. I've been traveling overseas my whole life. So I don't want to just focus on one market. So I like to expand, and I have a good, because being in manufacturing, I've just built a very, very good network of retail distribution, in all over Europe, East Africa, obviously Canada, Australia, and all these, UAE and everywhere. And I wanted to activate that distribution network and build my global distribution, more so than just doing one market. A lot of people do it the other way. They build, really strong in one market, then they go out, right? I wanted to do it the other way for whatever reason. And we needed a sales manual as well. We needed training on the product. We needed all these things, to build distribution. So the education actually serviced that as well. And, we were able to do, we've done seminars for Equinox. We did for their trainers. We did it for Virgin Active in Australia. We did it for St. Luke's Hospital. We did it for the Life Fitness distributor for East Africa. It's Kenya, Ethiopia, their whole team. We've done it we've done it in Poland. We've done it in Czech Republic, Baltics, Italy, Germany. Germany's an very exciting market. And even in Dubai, and Saudi Arabia. We did Saudi Arabia as well. And then, of course, Australia and those other regions. And Brazil now is a market for Brazil, Turkey are kind of my favorite two regions for this year. Yeah. But then Asia is a region I'm going to focus a lot on. So Korea, I was just in Korea. I've got to go to Thailand. Vietnam, I have distribution. and then all throughout China, all the different cities and major in China. But that education, it's the full solution. There's the product. Once you do the education, you're zero to hero on light therapy. You don't need, like, you can straight away implement it in your sales channels, implement it in your clinic or in your gym or your hospital. Like in China, because I have my medical, I've got like quite a lot of medical licenses. I have the NMPA, this is China FDA. So the product's already in public hospitals here in China. Like it's like I can get it, I can achieve a lot with these medical licenses and the education. And the education, I wanted to get it even further. So I submitted it to get accredited so that you could actually earn a certification. You know, like we've got academies all over the world that will push the program if it's accredited, if it has ACE, if it has NASM or the AFAA. So we got that accreditation, and now a trainer can actually earn credits and have that as a certification. So it's it was really fun, and that's my big passion now is the education. You know, we have the conversation about education first, and then we let the product come in afterwards and integrate it however is needed.
I like it. I was sitting there, I was like, man, maybe I need to work for you. No, but no, it's you know, so I was reading over all of the information and everything, and I thought to myself, the strategy, once you implement the educational piece, and then you have the certifications, you have the distribution, and then you have the influence because of the authority that you have, plus a product. The only thing that's missing is the last component. And I was like, man, you know, I have not been to a gym in Chicago, in Illinois, and I've visited, you know, because of my other 9-to-5 experiences, I have traveled North America quite extensively, right? I've been to Europe, I've been to London, right? But I have not been in a gym where red light therapy was actually used. I've been to, you know, I've seen saunas. Now cryotherapy is becoming a big thing, but red light, right? And I saw you got the IP67, right? So I know it's waterproof, right? And what I've learned about as an entrepreneur myself, as a creator, creators create what I would say pebbles that turn into mountains. Like it's never this, right? It's okay, this leads to this, leads to this, and then boom, you got this big mountain, right? So I don't know, I'm assuming, but when will we see the Lumaflex fitness experience in North America, in Chicagoland?
Chicago, yeah, we need to find a good partner in Chicago. Like our in the US, mainly e-commerce and retail is like the strategy there. But we have like a few clinics all throughout the US. But I don't think I've got anyone in Chicago. I must find someone in Chicago. And we're the, you know what, I'll show you one right here.
All right.
We're the highly portable, you know, apply on skin. We're the version, we're like the Theragun, you know, that massage gun.
Yeah.
We're the Theragun of light therapy. We're the put it in your pocket, use on the go, mainstream, you know, anytime you need, you got light therapy. But there are big devices that you can get, and I don't want to play on the big device game. I kind of, you know, these high prices, and it's a different strategy. I'm more, and my vision is more like get one into every home, and with certain size, it's like the price becomes a bit too, and you kind of have to do a different marketing campaign. Now I have to kind of, you know, get where I want to shoot for. I got to shoot for very few, you know, people that have the money to afford that. But what a gym could do, what a gym should do, is get a red light therapy bed. They should get a bed, those big beds. And they have that, you know, if you want to like do once a week. And then when you do a training session with a trainer, this is one of the tools that the trainer has, and he can do it, some red light therapy pre and post training. And then you're like, oh, if I want to buy one, then you buy one at the retail. That's kind of like the ultimate sort of element, because I would take nothing away from a big device. Like that is full body mitochondrial complete activation. That's like supercharged. This is just a small version where, it's for localized treatment and guarantees consistent abuse. So if you were to do a large device once a week, it's not as good as using a small device on different areas of your body through every day. It's the same with like diet. Don't have one day where you eat good. Eat good. You want to eat every day. Or with training, you don't want to just train like once a week. Consistency is the key. So we're that consistency product. But still, if ever anybody listening sees a big, nice bed device, like, trust me, you get in there and you do a full, like if you go in naked, make sure, you have nothing, blocking the light. You'll feel amazing. Like, you may fall asleep during the session. If it's usually they average about 20 minutes. So you may crash out, but then when you wake up, you're like, whoa, let's go. You want to go for a run. Like, you get a real good supercharge. But they can be, a bed can be in the 100, the $80,000 to $100, $100,000. That's the kind of the price range, maybe more, depending. But yeah, there's a big price difference, So yeah.
I like it. All right. Well, look, we've got a couple of breaks we got to do. When we return, I want to get into the mindset of leadership. To bring something to this point has to be a tear shed moment, but I'm sure there have been moments that is like, so I want to get into the mindset, as we close out. So I got a couple breaks, y'all. When we return, we got the one, the only John Graham Harper after this.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I have to chop. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, they're like, it's
helps me recover. The super thick definitely helps me keep focused. It gives me energy as I'm fueling through my workouts. And then the creatine helps replenish all of the energy that I lost. It helps rebuild that muscle mass. So everything that I'm putting in is not for waste. Build your confidence, body back moving, get your body back working. If I can do it, you can do it too. The sky is truly the limit. To find these products, you can find them at CVMKglobal.store.
Y'all, so obviously y'all saw the sports bra ad. Shout out to Chloe Greco. Obviously, I'm trying to build the next Nike because our stuff is way better than Nike. And I love Nike. I'm not trying to get sued by Nike just in case Nike's listening, but at the same time, CVMK is the David to that Goliath. But I need you to go there, www.cvmkglobal.store, and the creatine, super thick creatine, #1 seller for 2026. Super popular with women. Y'all, I'm telling you, 5 grams pure creatine, monohydrate, no bloat, easy dissolves, added to any of your favorite beverages. www.cvmkglobal.store. Okay, so let's talk about the mental health aspect of it. I love what I do. I love this, right? I love the CVMK Global portion of it that feeds and fuels the CVMK show, right? Like, it's just this kind of interesting marriage monster. But there are moments of anxiety sometimes. There's moments of just frustration, from content creation to products to dealing with logistics, shipping. I got a product right now I'm trying to get into the hands of this influencer in Germany. And I've had to call, I've had to write, I had to fill out a separate bill of invoice because I did not know in German customs you can't, and I guess because of this new tariff crap, whatever. So our supplements can't go over there without this kind of like approval process. And like I had to fill out all this information, and they had to vouch and had to get a power of attorney. It was just this big, ugly thing. And those are the moments that are just like, to make you rip, your hair out. I don't have any hair, but it just makes you want to just scream sometimes. But it's all part of it, right? Yeah. So as a founder, as a leader, as a CEO of this organization, how do you deal with those moments when it's like, shoot, like, can't you see? Like, how do you deal with those moments?
Yeah, I think it's like, for me, it's gotten to the point where it just doesn't, like, my you like you mentioned, you get anxiety,
Yeah.
and you get sort of like frustration, or you get stress, and I think it does come, but it doesn't affect me as much as it used to.
Okay.
Like when you've gone through so much up and down, you're just so used to, like, bad stuff happening that you have to fix, fires happening all over, you have to put out fires.
Yeah.
It just when it just keeps happening, and you realize, you're like, oh, it's like water off a duck's back. I've definitely seen that in the last, like, couple of years, like, since when I was younger and getting into global trade. It's kind of like what, like, oh wow, it's like, ooh, this is a big fire. It's like, yeah, this is just another day. Like, it just becomes normal. It's like, it's the new normal, and then that just becomes like, I can sleep at night, and I'm not so affected by it. But then, and also, of course, having my wife as well, I'm a very I like we share a lot, and we keep we don't make the problem bigger. We're always like, let's put out the fires, it's not a big deal, it's not next. And then over time, it doesn't affect anymore. It just really doesn't do much. Yeah. And also, I've been through some nasty things. I've been through some really nasty, like, court battles, and I've had to face serious challenges. Ones that I was like, if I get out of this, man, bring it on. What's next? Like, I could take anything. Like, I've gone through stuff, really, really rough stuff, in that. And I'm sure there's more coming, but you get conditioned to it. You get better and better at conditioned to it. And then you can take on bigger problems because you've dealt with the small ones, and you kept leveling up. And I can look back on my life and really see that. Like, I'm like, wow, like, this would have been a massive problem, but I'm not even gonna remember it by next week, because it's just, you're conditioned to it. Your avatar in the game of life is, has more armor to fight off the monsters. Yeah.
Do you feel that? I know I got a few minutes, man. I appreciate you, but do you feel that with the current political scope, it could negatively affect business? And this is why I bring this up. I sold into Canada, and I was like, all right, cool. Like, we're getting out of the localized market. Like, it's starting to become recognized, and products again got held up, right? And then I was like, what is a VAT tax? Like, I'm starting to understand. All these kind of like entry points and just everything. And it's like, oh yeah. And it's like, well, new administration, so the dollars been put back at you. And then that just reminds me, I actually got to fill that out and get it sent back. And then, I had to register for like a Canadian, some type of like tax entity, so I could kind of surpass that. But to do it and not be a Canadian citizen, there's like a lot of process to that whole thing. And like, I'm staring at the papers right in front of me, and things I didn't know. I just didn't know it, right? But now I know it because I had to experience it. But do you feel that politics is getting in the way of global commerce?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, and there's a lot of it we can't control. Yeah. But what I can tell you, from my perspective, like, I've been all over the world, like Middle East. I've done Middle East, Asia, US. Never touched Russia yet. I haven't been into Russia, but like, India. Like, I actually was born in India. I was born in India. My office is in Miami. It's where my head office is. I have an Australian passport, so I'm Australian. But I've spent more time in China than any other country in the world for manufacturing. So I kind of like, when China is this region, like even Singapore, like, is sort of, it's very international. Everyone gets along. We get along. Yeah, there's politics, but we got to get along. And you realize that pretty much everyone just wants to do business. Like, they all just want to get a deal done. They want to make a sale. They want to do some acquisition. They want to cut a deal. everyone wants to do deals. Like wherever you go, everyone will always try to do a deal, right? And that's if you're in the same industry and they're like, I like you, I trust you, I like you, I trust you, let's do business. We all just get, the political powers, the charade that is played, with these, with these different administrations and everything, where they all sort of like tit for tat for each other. That sort of is moving global trade in certain directions. But at the end of the day, I think where it matters to us, we're always going to be able to do business. Like we'll always find someone that we'll always be able to get the deal done. We're all normal people. No one, like the news portrays like it's them versus us, and it's all just media garbage. It's all just hype. Like we all get along. Everyone does business. Like everywhere you go in the world, like Middle East is amazing for business. Everyone wants to do business. No one's like, oh, I don't agree. No one will talk about it. Like, in fact, like I would say like where I had those awkward conversations, where like certain cities in the US more so than anywhere else, is I'd have someone come up and be like, hey, do you think China's going to go to war with us? Or ask me like some question. I'm like, I've worked for, with Chinese, I worked for them, worked on like with politicians, like in the sort of the local government level. Yeah. I've had conversations with them all the way down to like the guy that's like, at a food stand, selling you something. No one talks about, any kind of conflict. Everyone wants to do business. Everyone wants to do business. We should do business. We should do business. And it's exactly the same everywhere in the Middle East. Everyone just wants to do business. And it's just, you just got to keep that in mind. Like at the end of the day, everyone wants to do business. Like everyone wants to like, the exchange value and be like, hey, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. I love your product. I love what you're doing. I want to support you. It doesn't matter. Forget the borders, forget the countries, forget the media. And that's all I focus on. Like I can be friends with absolutely anybody, and I can do business with anybody, anyone, anywhere. We can get it done.
I like it. All right, last questions. If you could go back in time, and when you're in rugby and when you're sparring against Tyson Fury, and you're accumulating all of this damage, and you're thinking, what's next for me, right? If you could tell that person one thing, what would you tell that person?
Yeah, it's all necessary to bring about where I am, or where we go through these tribulations, so that we are in the place that we are. But definitely I would tell myself, like, I don't know why, maybe it's the last couple of weeks or something, but like a lot of people don't realize, like, nobody cares. Like everyone thinks that they're the center of the world, that everything matters, that this is gonna that they and at the end, nobody. I can't remember where this came from. I think it came up from a conversation where I had with someone, with a partner, and he wanted to do something adventurous, and I don't know if I'm ready. And I was like, no, like your thinking of ready or not ready, that's only you. Nobody cares. Like, you should wait till you're ready. Nobody cares. Like everyone is so focused on their own thing that you would be surprised how your world is literally just your world. Like you could just go ahead and take risks and go crazy, because no one's is gonna judge you. No one's gonna judge you at all. Like they just don't care enough. Everyone cares about their own stuff too much. And I think I may have been like that as young. I always thought that I was worried about being judged on some level, on some sense. And I think if I had that awakening of like nobody cares, I don't think I would have made some of the mistakes I did, because you just, when you're thinking about like, this isn't, I'm going to be judged for this, or I better do this right, or you end up like investing in the wrong way in something. But and I was just thinking about this in the last week, like over a couple of conversations. I was like, don't. I think I told a few young people recently, like, stop caring. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your shit. Like, do whatever you want to do. Do whatever. I'm not judging you. No one's gonna judge you. Go do what you want to do. Like, you want to change your job. You want to, like, you want to, I don't know, you want to go date that girl, or because perhaps, even though she maybe doesn't look as pretty as the picture you had in your head, of how you be introduced to people. Just don't care. Nobody cares. It's like, just go do you do you. Yeah.
Cool. One last question before I let you go, man. If you could see anybody on this show that you personally know and you could make the recommendation, who would it be and why?
Let's see. Who's a group? So many. Oh, do you want to do like biohackers or like
anybody? It could be biohackers. It could be fitness influencers, politicians, anybody.
Politicians, RFK.
Right. I would, if I could get him on here, I would love to have that interview.
Yeah, I met him. When did I meet him? DC. Yeah, I met him on his inauguration. I met him at his inauguration event. I got invited to his inauguration in DC. But yeah, I think why don't we go for Chris Gethin?
Yeah.
Chris Gethin. I'll hit Chris Gethin up. Chris Gethin, Unmatched Supplements, right? That's his brand. Unmatched, yes. Chris Gethin. Yeah. I'll get you in touch with Chris Gethin. He's awesome, that guy. He's awesome. I love him. I love that guy. Yeah.
I like I've seen his journey. He got really big around the pandemic. Like, that's when his brand kind of just like blew up. And just, seeing him and seeing like the evolution of his body. It's crazy. And then, like, when Chris got big, then Colin got big, and Colin got big because he was doing the movie impersonating Arnold, or so just to kind of see that'd be amazing. But I look forward to having Chris on the show.
Yeah, yo, he's like he's 52, I think 53.
He's that old?
Chris is like 50 something. I think if you check one of his latest posts, his biological age is like 22, and he's like 50 something. He's real biohacker, that guy. Like, I'm amazed. Like, he stays in great shape.
Yeah.
He's and just like, wow, at that age you're so healthy, bro. You're so healthy. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, let's talk Chris Gethin then. Let's get the Gethin. Chris Gethin.
Let's get him. I thought it was like late 30s, early 40s. I'm like 52. Get him up. We gotta get him on. Y'all, this has been an amazing. Oh yeah. John, where can they connect with you, man? Where can they follow you? Get the Lumaflex. Where can they follow you?
Well, if anyone wants to access our education, just hit me up on Instagram at John Graham Fitness. Say that you love the show and you would love to get the free. I'll give it to anyone who asks, who DMs me, and I just need your email. So I get the email and I upload you in, and you can have access to all our coursework, and you'll know everything about light therapy. So, but lumaflex.com is the website. Luma Light Flex, as in flexible, like the product is flexible, so it can contour to your all your joints. You can put it on any area. So lumaflex.com, and then hit me up on Instagram and get access to our Lumaflex Academy.
Y'all hit him up on the gram. Give him the email, DM him, get the academy. It is amazing. You will be blown away. Trust me, I've been in it. And then go to the website, get the products, support. And if you want to keep seeing amazing people like we have on the day, you know what you got to do, y'all. Go to YouTube, 1 word, 4 letters, CVMK, where it goes down. Follow us on all socials from the CVMK Show or CVMK Global. If you put in CVMK, you're either going to see the bear or you're going to see the logo for the show, y'all. Either one, but I need y'all to connect. Follow us, and where the best supplements are, like I have right here. Samson, need you to zoom in, man. www.cvmkglobal.store. And until next time, guys, thanks.
This is the CVMK Show. Hit that subscribe button. Stay locked in for the next conversation and fuel your grind with the best supplements at cvmkglobal.store. See you on the next one.